Dune Part 2. That is what we're here to discuss today on Dad Doesn't Have Time for This, the podcast where we discuss things in a brief manner and then rate them in comparison to everything else that's ever been related. So, here we are, and all in all, I am very, very impressed with Dune Part 2. Like, the whole time I was watching this movie, I was just like, this is so well done. It's just, it looks so good. The visual effects don't look blurry and muddy like the last dozen Marvel and DC movies. And it's so thought out. I understand some of the issues listening to Andre over at Midnight's Edge's discussion about changes made to Chani and her relationship with Paul and how she doesn't seem to understand things. I get that, but at the same time, it just doesn't bother me. I thought it would, but then I watched it and I'm like, you know what? I'm kind of okay with that. She goes out, she figures out the other stuff, and if they make a part 3, I'm okay with it, how it ended. My dad, not so much, but he still enjoyed it. And so, when I think about Dune and what it does and doesn't do, it's there's a lot to say. So, the Harkonnen planet being black and white, at first I thought, is that a stylistic thing? And then after watching it more, I think they're actually saying that the exterior of the planet, the way the light's projected, is actually black and white to the eye and not just a stylized thing. Because some of the shots were like black and white on the outside, but if you're lit by the interior, it was in color. It was an interesting contrast. But man, just the fight scene in the arena, the sandworms, the way Christopher Walken, wasn't expecting that. That was a surprise. He wasn't too Christopher Walken for the role, though he was still a little Christopher Walken. Christopher Walken is kind of like Nicolas Cage, where he's always a little bit himself, no matter how hard he tries, but that's kind of what you want from him. And is the movie woke? I wouldn't say so. Is the movie extremely well done? Yes. Now that I've seen the conclusion of the first book of Dune, is it better than the adaptation of The Lord of the Rings? No, I'm not going to say it is. I think Lord of the Rings is the pinnacle of book adaptations, and I will be surprised if it's ever topped. At least in my opinion. That doesn't include manga adaptations. I'm just talking about classical books on paper. Now, where to go from here? So, like I said before, I got into Dune because of David Lynch's Dune. Then I read the books, and then here we are watching this version. And I think they should do Dune Messiah. I think Dune Messiah was next, and then Children of Dune. I don't know if I'd do movies past Children of Dune, but I'd at least go that far if they're going to keep making movies. I'd also look for a way of making them one movie per book going forward. I think doing the first book and 2 movies works because it just establishes everything, but once everything is put into place, I think 1 movie for the last 2 books would be more appropriate than 2 movies per book for 6 movies total. That just seems like too much. So, I hope this makes its money, because I really want to see Dune Part 3. And 4, and after that, I don't know if I'd go past that. But I'd at least want to see Parts 3 and 4 to cover Dune, Messiah, and Children of Dune. So there you have my feedback. All in all, I'd say this was the 71st best movie of all time. Better than Dune Part 1. It just felt more just appropriate. I think Dune Part 1 ended better, but as a whole, I think this one was better done. And I I may have a surprise part 3 for you, so stay tuned and have a wonderful day.